Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week it was parents. This week it is gun owners. Remember what we learned last week in that important hearing? We learned Democrats supported the Department of Justice setting up an open, dedicated line of communication for threat reporting. As we said last week, a snitch line on parents. The Attorney General engaged the National Security Division in this effort. And the only evidence the Department of Justice had for taking these actions was the letter from the National School Board Association, which 24 hours after our hearing last week, they apologized for. And it wasn't just your average apology. It was, we regret and apologize for the letter. There was no justification for the language included in the letter. We apologize for the strain and stress this situation has caused you and your organization. 2 apologies in 1 paragraph. I don't know if I've ever seen that. So last week it was going after parents based on a letter that has been apologized for in a way I frankly haven't seen around this town. This week, Democrats are going to take away law-abiding Americans' Second Amendment rights. Here's what this bill would do. It would deprive individuals, people who have neither been accused nor committed any crime, of their firearms without due process of law. By depriving individuals of their property and rights without having been charged, arraigned, or convicted of a crime, this bill violates constitutional due process rights set out in the 5th and 14th Amendments. This bill would flip the presumption of due process on its head. The accused person is deprived of the opportunity of defense or the ability to cross-examine the accuser. Individuals faced with an ex parte order would be forced to spend a considerable amount of time and resources on defense without ever being accused of a crime. And if the individual mounts a successful defense, the difficulty of having the seized property returned is a huge burden. Think about it. This bill requires a firearm owner to turn over the firearms or sell them within 48 hours. But there's no requirement in the bill for the government to return the firearms once the order expires or is no longer in effect. This means that individuals who seek the return of their property must take independent and expensive legal action to have the property returned by the federal government, the property that was taken in an unconstitutional fashion. More troublingly, this bill is predicated simply on the belief of third parties. Your neighbor doesn't like you, will now have a mechanism to get the government to take your Second Amendment rights away, to take your firearms away. This bill is about limiting American Second Amendment liberties. Make no mistake, this bill is all just a pretext for the Democrats to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. Think about this. Democrats defund the police, they label parents as terrorists, and now they're going to take away your firearms without due process. This is frightening. I hope we don't pass this legislation. I hope you vote no. With that, I yield back the balance of our time.